Now, what do you have to say for yourself?
Did I miss something?
Since we're here to gather flowers for the dead, I thought I'd teach Manfred some plant names. But I just caught him attempting to wade into a rose bush.
That must have been frustrating.
He knows he's not supposed to play in the horticulture. Oh, Manfred. Whatever will happen to you if I pass on?
If?
There's something I'd like to talk about. Do you know what a lich is, Rook?
Doesn't ring a bell.
A lich is a mage transformed into one of the undead while retaining their true, original consciousness. The idea fascinated me when I was younger. For years, I researched and experimented, spoke with spirits and mages. Then, eventually, I found them.
Who?
The Lich Lords of the Grand Necropolis. Necromancers before me who'd transformed themselves into true living dead.
Well, not everyone gets to meet their idols.
Oh, but I was nervous. The Liches are the great protectors of the Necropolis, bulwarks against forces that threaten creation. After years of tests and rituals, they granted me my desire, the right to attempt lichdom.
Hold on. If you become a lich, then all this flirting we've been doing...
I should hate to lose your company while I'm still mortal.
What would you being a lich be like?
A vast leap. Flesh cast aside for bone, returned immortal for all time.
So, if we keep flirting afterward, you'll be a skeleton.
If we what?
I'm not ruling it out, just asking.
Oh, I'd inform you before making any decisions to... questions of lichdom are... Lichdom is an incredible honor. Immortality, prestige, the most hallowed ranks of the Watchers, as well as a chance to be of service past my allotted years. But there are considerations. Come, we have flowers to gather for the dead.
Okay, but I've got questions.
Blue creepvine. This will do nicely.
Emmrich, aren't most undead just random spirits inside corpses?
Liches are different. It wouldn't be a spirit acting in my name. My true consciousness would be housed in my departed flesh.
How?
The Order must keep some secrets. Moon blossoms, famed in verse and song.
Smells like perfume. Do liches have a sense of smell?
I've been told that while some of my senses will dull, others will become available. Other than that, I can't say if the flowers would still hold their bloom for me. Lichdom serves a purpose. There are dark things in creation, threats to both our world and the Fade. The Liches of the Necropolis have the insight and the abilities to oppose them.
And you're joining them when?
Certain elements have held me back. There's no ready instructions for lichdom. The steps must be discovered on one's own over years to be fully understood.
Does the spell to become a lich kill you, or do you have to...
No, mercifully, that falls to another watcher. After my death, my soul will be drawn back into my body instead of moving on to whatever lies beyond.
So, what's holding you back from lichdom?
Even with all my preparations, there's a chance I could die permanently during the rites. What cowardice! A promise of immortality, an end to all my fears, and the final veil stays my hand.
That's reasonable. Lots of people are afraid of dying.
Is it? When it keeps me from what I most desire? Traditionally, candidates for lichdom face one final sifting of the soul. If they avoid it, you saw my old colleague.
Hezenkos. She's a lich.
A half-lich, though that hasn't diminished her powers. Until I stop her plans, I won't possess the peace of mind for lichdom. Why don't you select the next flowers, Rook?
Sure. So what's a half-lich exactly?
Johanna attempted the rites of lichdom and failed. Stuck in her in-between state, she is supremely dangerous, but can't learn any new magic.
No wonder Hezenkos was shouting so much.
No, she's always been that way.
What about the sifting of a soul that Hezenkos avoided?
The spirits of the necropolis judge whether a candidate is worthy of the power and responsibility of lichdom.
How'd she become a lich without it?
I shared some knowledge when we were colleagues. She apparently put together more than I knew. It would be just like her to skip the rituals, the cleansings, the preparations of the soul.
For a watcher, Hezenkos is pretty harsh on spirits.
We made allowances because of her discoveries. Too many. Spirits are not things to be disposed of.
You really care about them?
They're so susceptible to the world's whims, Rook. Some spirits are dangerous, but how quickly most respond to a bit of kindness or care, or simple attempt to understand. For all she's done, I can't condemn Johanna for attempting lichdom. That freedom from mortality, that divorce from fear, and of course, time to read all of one's books.
Of course.
But how she's abused her abilities. Are my intentions enough to fare better?
Worrying's a good sign. That's right. There's probably another skeleton in there.
We have enough flowers. There's something I'd like to show you. Here we are.
Oh, so these flowers are for...
Yes. If you could place them on the graves, please.
In memory of Rupert and Eleonora Volkaren, they walk eternity hand in hand.
After I became a watcher, I erected a proper shrine to my parents. When I come to talk, I like to think they listen. Well, don't be shy. Introduce yourself.
Rook, it's a pleasure. Do you remember your parents?
Some memories are bright. Others are akin to those dim early morning dreams one gets sometimes. Lately, I wondered what they'd think of our current course, the choices ahead.
Your lichdom.
What would they have wanted me to be?
Happy with someone who cares for you.
Shroud's Kiss. I've always loved the legend around this flower. They say it grows on lovers' graves, and that one moves closer to the fade simply by inhaling its fragrance.
Is that true?
It is when I will it, my dear.
What else?
What a day of unexpected splendor. Rook, darling, I was thinking of spending an evening with just the two of us.
I'd like that.
Wonderful. I've made all the arrangements at the necropolis. We'll leave whenever you're ready. How did you find everything?
Best meal I've had in a graveyard.
One advantage of being senior staff is requisitioning the kitchen's better cooks.
You did that just for me.
I'd hoped the evening might impress. The amount of work on you worries me, Rook. Responsibility exacts a toll on the body.
Sorry to disappoint. I'm feeling great.
Oh, that bright cheer. I do ask that you at least avoid putting pressure on that stiff left wrist.
It's a little stiff. Impressed you spotted it.
Well, I am familiar with the finer points of anatomy. It's good we made time for this. A couple should get to know one another in comfort.
Time to dig into our feelings?
I'd be delighted if the mood moves you.
What's your favorite color?
Well, can I only choose one?
Let me guess. Black? Green? Yellow, but like a bone yellow?
Lilac.
Ah, of course you went to a flower.
It's such a pretty shade of purple. It brings thoughts of spring. And what's your favorite shade of color?
Rich purple. The kind you get with those really expensive dyes.
It's the color of royalty in some kingdoms.
Maybe I've got ambitions. Devastating charm aside, what do you like about me?
Apart from the compliment of your interest,
Come on.
darling, it's gratifying a fresh-faced adventurer noticed me at all. And your spirit does charm, but there's also something quite indomitable about you, Rook. It inspires.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so Emmrich, I wanted to tell you something. You're my first... anything. I've never been with anyone romantically.
We can move slowly, and I'm glad you chose me.
It's been good so far.
Oh, excellent.
Anyway, should we enjoy the garden?
Certainly. They're wondering what we're up to. Wisps are ever attracted to the gardens.
Like you?
The Fade is close here. As are spirits I count as guides and friends. Beyond that, I feel there are mysteries past our comprehension. Something beyond the weft of magic or deepest Fade. When I'm fortunate, I spy suggestions of them here.
You're so philosophical around flowers.
It's the purpose of the gardens, to lift our thoughts to something higher and finer than we are.
Like that?
Sometimes, my dear, I think you indulge me.
When I'm in the mood.
Emmrich, if you liked someone, what would you do? To show them you like them, I mean.
Strangely enough, I might have found myself in that situation recently.
You mean you and Rook?
You noticed?
Emmrich, everyone noticed.
Well, it began when we spent some time together in the Memorial Gardens.
Don't, you know, spirits hang around there?
Oh, a few, certainly.
Emmrich, that rune you enchanted for me doesn't seem to do anything.
Well, that's true. Oh, I never aligned the etheric flows. How did I must have been distracted.
You have been a little lately. I mean, what with you and Rook becoming...
You noticed?
I'm sure you two getting together is... Only Rook's kinda younger, so...
It's not... What are you getting at, Harding?
You two are sort of moving quickly.
May we change topics? End them! Quickly! Struck, dearest!
So you're with Rook now?
We're exploring the matter, yes?
Good. I hope you two do good stuff.
Oh, thanks, Tosh.
Just don't do corpse stuff in bed.
What?
No, sorry, you're right. It's not my stuff. Do corpse stuff in bed if you want to.
Thank you, Tash, for the sentiment. Quickly! Well struck, dearest!
Emmrich,
Yes.
I've been showing you around. That had anything to do with the fancy dinner menu Manfred showed me?
He took... of course, those gilded edges.
It's sweet. You and Rook have fun.
I heard another rumor, Emmrich,
What is your latest hearsay?
that you and Rook are getting tight. Making eyes, warming the cockles of your heart, tugging at the old bow.
That's quite enough.
Sure, but if you need any tips on hand-to-bone combat,
My dear young Devron, I know perfectly well what I'm doing.
make that your next book.
What do you think Rook's like in person? Do you think they smell nice?
What is wrong with you? And have you forgotten which side you're on?
No. I mean, think about if we could turn them. Riding beside Rook at the head of Devinter's vast armies.
You've quite a fan amongst the Venatori.
Keep your voice down.
Something's wrong.
I thought I just heard Solus.
You are correct. Algernon's magic has thinned the veil, allowing me to speak to you directly.
Solus, we need your help.
Then I am pleased that for once, I can offer some assistance. If you can rescue the elves, Algernon is mine to face.
What do you mean?
Algernon! Lethalin, ma banal avanuris, Masalin Algalana?
I see what you mean. Let's keep moving. Solus is gonna distract Elganon.
You have no power here.
Incredible to bear witness to this ancient rivalry.
As long as it keeps him off us.
So, the dread wolf.
Your cruelty forced my hand. For 100 generations and still the same refrain. Again you have caged our people, and again I will set them free. But you're always stubborn, Emperor, insubordinate, unmanageable, by rules way. You have lost the right to speak your name. Mother of man, Shevka, Emperor.
Are you all right?
I can hear them in my head. Myrna, hello. I assume Vorgoth's not far
We
behind.
have her, Rook. We have her. We know exactly what she's planning.
The professor asked us to research the artifact that came into the possession of Johanna Hezenkos.
She carries a gloaming lantern.
That bad as it sounds?
They were fashioned in ages past by unscrupulous necromancers. The lanterns steal and concentrate life.
Johanna could use it to leech life from hundreds at a time. An endless source of power.
Sounds overcomplicated and like it could blow up in her face.
Oh, there's nothing Johanna will not risk for her ambitions. But we've found her.
She has returned to Blackthorn Manor.
Hezenkos intends to hold a soiree.
That can't be her whole plan.
No, but I propose a small group infiltrate Johanna's lair while she's distracted and destroy her lantern.
Let's do it.
Vorgoth and I must return to the necropolis.
Hunt well.
If only we could make Johanna see reason.
You tried before. She seems stubborn.
Perhaps that's why she attained immortality, while I quake on the threshold. If I make my own bid for lichdom. Oh, it's no use pretending this hasn't stirred up that old dread of my own mortality.
I'm always here to talk about it. You know that, right?
It's a comfort, darling. Truly, but... Oh, Johanna was never beset by these sort of fears.
Well, a little fear's healthy. You'll feel better once we crash her lair and destroy that lantern. Promise. Okay, so the plan is basically to sneak around, find Hezenkos' lantern, and smash it. That's quite a crowd over in the manor.
Johanna's gathering. If she's mingling there, we'll be spotted. Fortunately, we have someone who could pass as a servant.
You don't think he'll stand out?
There'll be other undead servants. I'd be surprised if Johanna recognized him. You know, she never truly appreciated Manfred's cleverness. Right, Manfred. You're to find Johanna's guests and help us gather information on where her workshop might be. We'll be watching in case anything occurs.
Something's gonna occur.
Once we find and destroy Johanna's lantern, we'll end whatever she's planning. Hopefully before she introduces the lantern to her guests. There's Manfred. And Johanna.
But no lantern.
Ah, you were saying about a shrine in the manor.
Yes, a shrine revealed by a spectral tome, which, as an expert, I could read if our host ever lets me into the library.
An ancestral shrine? I could question the deceased there about the location of Johanna's lantern.
Well, if a book can lead us to the shrine, let's hit the library. What about this? That book just snarled at me.
Ah, there's our spectral tome. Well done.
It's not opening.
One must be delicate. That guest of Johanna's claimed to be an expert in spectral literature.
And was interested in the shrine. Let's have Manfred hand him the book, see what he says. Were you waiting for us? Manfred, take this tome to the man asking about the shrine, please.
Don't worry. We'll watch from the balcony.
What's this? The Spectral Guide to Blackthorn Manor? There now. I only want to look up one thing. Ah, there is an ancestral shrine in the northwest wing.
Perfect. Let's go to the shrine.
Yes, the deceased there should be most helpful in finding Johanna's lantern. This way to the shrine.
Why'd so many people come to Hezenkos's party? Is it the food? Food actually smells pretty good. Wait, was it corpses? Was this food made by corpses?
Of course not. Corpses never prepare food for risk of desiccated skin contaminating the meal.
Okay. Good.
All meal preparation is handled exclusively by skeletons.
Oh, come on!
Oh, the shrine's locked.
We must find a... Manfred?
What's he got there? Is this a key to the shrine?
Excellent, Manfred. Oh my. A body from the house of the Verheims prepared during the Storm Age.
You're adorable when you get excited about things like this.
Well, who wouldn't be, darling? Such a rare find.
Time to find Hezenkos. He's all yours, Emmrich.
By flame and seal, by light and flood, open your eyes once more.
Who dares disturb?
Friends to the dead.
Friends, this one was abandoned, lost.
Emmrich, it's getting noisy.
He's unusually obstinate. Speak! Where is Hezenkos?
Prove yourselves. What claim have you to the deceased? A willing dead companion. This one concedes. Hezenkos makes a thing that should not be. Red tapestry. Look there.
Rook, did you hear that? Manfred just...
I know. Also, we should move.
Oh, he can talk. Manfred, say something else. Come now, you just spoke.
We have to go.
Yes, yes.
This wall looks... Secret door.
Manfred, could you please squeeze through and open the door from the other side? Aha! I knew I didn't imagine him speaking.
How can Manfred talk now?
He began as a wisp that embodied what most wisps do. curiosity. I knew he was learning quickly outside the necropolis, but this level of complexity is remarkable.
Okay. Talking is... fine.
It's more than fine, Tash. It's a great achievement.
Great. Good for him. It's good. Not weird.
Good work, Manfred.
Hope this leads to where Hezenkos is keeping that lantern.
I can only imagine what she's planning to use it for. This must lead to Johanna's workshop.
What's that through the wall?
Oh my word!
It's big.
I thought you and your little friends might work late to my party, Karen.
Johanna, even half lich, you can't control something this massive.
Blowing the skeleton up there? That's Hezenkos' lantern.
She's going to use the life stored in it to reanimate that monstrosity. Quickly, we must... Reach the lantern.
That was a lot of undead.
You may as well weep for the fuel in a bonfire.
I'm seeing why Hezenkos failed that lich morality test.
We must make haste to that lantern. Unbelievable! Johanna's stolen a chamber from the Grand Necropolis and transposed it under Blackthorn Manor.
She did what? How does that even work?
The Necropolis's walls here are still intact. No wonder we couldn't sense what she's been...
Don't think I can't sense your...
I wish Manfred knew about...
He'll be fine. We'll handle this.
Manfred, there you are.
And can you release that ladder?
Thank you, Manfred. Now find somewhere safe.
There's the lantern. You gonna free the spirits inside?
We must, before we can destroy it.
Like back when you were freeing those spirits Hezenkos trapped in the manor? That took a lot out of you.
I must try, Rook.
Emmrich?
There are too many trapped spirits. I'm sorry. I can't. Another lash of power might end me.
What's that, Volkaren? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
He's still got twice your backbone.
I see Volkaren somehow did net himself a paramour.
Johanna! Listen to me! You're right. I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss having a friend that could.
Yes. Always the idealist.
I'm sorry lichdom failed you. I swear I would have helped you had you come to me. But puppeting this creature...
Puppet? Puppet? Do you think I'm staying a failed lich? I won't command my greatest creation! I Scoffing colleagues, interfering Templars, inept rivals, you all have a place in my heart. And tonight you will fuel my ascension at the cost of your miserable lives. Move! You think you can stop me? Once I get rid of you, I will merge with my greatest work and conquer this city!
Emmrich, can she do that?
Yes! She's attempting full possession with the life of the people here!
We need to stop Hesychos long enough to destroy that lantern.
With that much life inside it, the backlash could...
We don't have a choice.
Once I destroy you wretches, my union with my creation will be complete! Run, Volkar! Scurry like a wrecking ball! I can't believe you brought your ridiculous pet skeleton with you!
His name is Manfred!
I'll crush you myself if I must. I'll be sure to bury you in your new life.
This isn't working. We can't break the lantern.
You think I'd leave myself vulnerable to you? Enough playing! Your pointless lives will fuel my triumph!
Ah! What the crap is that? She's draining life from us. We must find shelter.
Right. You can't free the spirits in that lantern?
It might kill me and not even work. No living thing can approach it and... Manfred! Come back!
Any last words, Volkaren, before I... Ugh, you miserable little...
Manfred!
Manfred knew you could do this. So do I.
By the spirits bound here, night and shadow, light and blood.
What are you doing?
Let your chains loosen. Let the fade draw close.
You'll never succeed, you old fool!
I release you to the air.
No! You fool bite!
Emmrich, how's Manfred holding together? Oh.
We must go to the necropolis. His body could only take so much. But I underestimated him, Rook. What bravery in the heart of the dead. And how he grew. Manfred disobeyed me beautifully. He was his own soul at the end.
Can you bring him back?
I will ask.
Emmrich Volkaren. You were not expected so soon.
If I can do anything to help.
Thank you. But this must come from me. My lord, I come regarding Manfred, my fallen companion.
Yes, there are ways to return his spirit. But should you do this, Lichdom falls from your grasp.
What? Why?
Lichdom is long. If I'm to stand outside death, I must make peace with others passing through it.
What would we otherwise become? How many exceptions till tyranny? Revive him and remain mortal. Or let him slumber and join us.
Emmrich.
Manfred chose to help us. Am I too weak to accept his well-earned rest? I yearn for Lichdom Rook, that leap into something greater, that everlasting light. Do I revive him and live out my days? Or do I honor death by letting him rest and protect this world through immortality?
Emmrich, Lichdom is your life's work, your dream.
I imagined I knew its price. If I haven't even the strength to accept Manfred's sacrifice, I would outlive you all, Rook.
Would you still remember us?
Always. Kept alive in Lichdom's immortal memory. Death's swift touch, held back for all time.
If you really want to go beyond death, I think you have what you need to let all of us rest.
And peace shall follow. You're right. After I make my farewells, I will undergo the last rites of Lichdom. And Rook, thank you.
Why is it so cold in here? I know crows who kill to be so quiet.
Yes.
Rook, you remember Vorgoth? We were discussing some preparations for my Lichdom.
I shall be with you until the end.
Collecting your thoughts before the big day?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of them.
I've so much to do. Crafting a glamour, for example. After Lichdom, I'll need an illusion of my mortal appearance for polite company.
Good call.
I've told Harding about the ritual. I'll inform the others afterwards. But there's something I need to speak to you about as well, dearest.
Whatever you need, I'm here.
Where to begin? Lichdom is a transformation of body and soul. A change in how I sense and feel. And I will still feel, but...
What are you saying?
Rook, dearest, I'm becoming undead.
I know.
When we met, I never imagined you'd be interested in... Then after you were, How can we be together once I go into death?
You're underestimating what we've got.
What are you saying?
Remember when we talked in the Memorial Gardens? About how you might be undead one day? I know things will be different when you're a lich. And weird. Maybe very weird. But I care about you, Emmrich. If you feel the same, we'll figure out the rest. Unless you think you'll be too busy with Lichdom for me.
Never. Come, darling!